Hi, so we are here at mom&I studio here in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and they are launching a new video series for youth. So we are the first guests of the first episode. We are the Youth Council of Fort Lee. I'll start by introducing myself. Hi, my name is Gabriaella Son. I am a founding member of the Youth Council of Fort Lee in 2016. I graduated from the organization in 2018. I'm a current junior at the College of New Jersey, and I recently returned to the Youth Council of Fort Lee to organize the Stop Asian Hate March. Jonathan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Jonathan Gulyak. I'm currently the secretary of the Youth Council of Fort Lee, and I go to Bergen Tech. And yeah, how about you, Julia?
I'm Julia Park, and I am a junior at Bergen County Academies, and I am the fourth and current president of YCFL.
Hi, my name's Jason. I am currently a junior at Fort Lee High, and I am currently the recruitment chairman of YCFL.
Thank you for introducing yourselves. It's so nice to be back with the Youth Council of Fort Lee, and we're honored to be the first guest of this episode. So why don't we start by talking a little bit about the Youth Council of Fort Lee.
For this, we always change or try to change to adjust to matters surrounding the community each year. And last year we tried to do a color run, but it was unfortunately we couldn't do it because of COVID. So we tried to run it again this year, but unfortunately due to COVID again, we couldn't run it.
In the past couple of years, we had 4 main events. ClimateCon, which was to raise awareness for global warming, and related to that was the recycling bin projects.
Encouraged by other, those in the community, we had known that Fort Lee had tried to instate a Comfort Woman Memorial in the past, but that was unsuccessful due to politics. So the youth decided to take on this project. And that's how the Youth Council of Fort Lee came to be. We attended several council meetings with the mayor and councilman and woman. We made multiple petitions and speeches. We just spoke up for this, what we felt was an important issue to, a lot of Korean Americans living in Fort Lee, but also just important for the future to know, because the current events of the Comfort Woman situation is that there's not many living survivors left. So that's how we started, because with a consciousness of the youth, right? And I guess that's one of the reasons I decided to return to the Youth Council for the Stop Asian Hate March, because I realized that, since we are privileged to have these opportunities, the guidance from our parents, our fellow community, that's something that we can't be taken away with us. And we need to keep that alive, right? Because we've seen in previous generations where there hasn't been as much amplification on certain issues, right? For example, the Comfort Woman. So that's something, since we have that knowledge and that awareness, we have to spread that to the future.
Seeing some improvement with the recycling bins and the Comfort Woman Memorial and a bunch of other events, we can see people coming and changing and making a difference in the community. And as youth, that was a pretty big experience for me, that we can make a difference no matter what age we are.
Being a part of that, having the opportunity to join this entire organization and then taking action by helping veterans or educating people about climate, and then in the future organizing other events, just being that step forward within the community, it's a really great opportunity. So glad I joined.
At the time I joined, I didn't think that us teens could really make an impact on the community, but participating in events and helping out the community made me realize that there's a lot we can do. And reflecting on these past 3 years, I've realized that you can help out the community while also having fun. There's a lot you can do.
The Youth Council of Fort Lee is really the first of its kind. When I was in high school, I had never seen youth really getting involved in the community, unless, like Jason said, it was for volunteer hours, right? Because you have to do community service in high school. But when I started to work with the Youth Council of Fort Lee and see all these my members and I, organizing these events, receiving the opportunity to attend mayor's meetings with the mayor and council, I realized, age is just a number, and we can make a difference. what's important, I think, about the Youth Council of Fort Lee, that you guys are all here today, is so that other youth in this community, whether it's Fort Lee, the greater Bergen County area, etc., can see individuals who look like them or who are their age, and they can see them, getting involved in local politics. And that's something that we don't really see here in Fort Lee, or at least not until the Youth Council of Fort Lee came to be. Okay, so let's talk about our most recent project, the Stop Asian Hate March that took place in Fort Lee, but was a large community effort with, New Jersey organizations and representatives, or even New York organizations and representatives as well. 8 people were murdered, 6 of them were Asian American women like myself, and that's when I realized, I don't even have a right to be scared. There are these 6 Asian American women, 8 individuals died at the expense of hate. So I can't let myself be consumed by this fear. Whether the march is successful or not, I have to go. So I reached out to you guys, and I think you guys did a great job with, facilitating the march, because we had so many members of the community come. It was so great to see. Yeah, why did you decide to volunteer at the march? And what did you, learn, take away from it? What was it like being there in the crowd with over 750 people and making a difference?
So I guess, at first, when I first joined YCFL, I thought to myself that, targeting political topics might be a little sensitive for an organization like us. But obviously, after the recent situations across the country, I found it to be a necessary thing. So I'm glad I'd like to say, first of all, that I'm glad we organized this thing and it came out to be such a success. But in the present moment, when I first arrived at the protest, I was amazed at how many people showed up. When we were standing in front of the stage, and people and all the speakers were coming up, and we were standing there to obviously show YCFL organized this, and we stand up for those people that were murdered. But it was an awkward feeling because you had so many people looking at you, but at the same time, I felt like we were empowering other youths, like you said earlier, within the community to really rise up, because I know that there were a lot of children there. So I feel like looking at a group of teenagers just standing in the front, that possibly could have inspired them. And then past that, I know that me and Jason both held up the main banner. Yeah, so it's Stop Asian Hate, and we were walking throughout the community. And I found it to be a privilege to be able to hold that banner and really lead the march, because everyone was behind us. And it was really great to be center stage and just advocate for that. And I thought it was a great moment when we would walk through the streets of Fort Lee, and then we would look through to the sides, and you'd see people coming out of their houses, and some of them even joining the march. And then I know there were a couple people that just came to us holding the banner, and they joined us too, and were chanting the chant, So it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Julia?
And I know people think 750 and it's a number, but when you're actually with that many people fighting for the same cause, it's a whole new experience. I think even though it was not a long march, but it was pretty decent timed march, I got a bunch of energy from the crowd, and it was very great to see how people in the community were supporting this cause, and that some people are, like you said, are kind of intimidated to start a march because what if no one comes up? But seeing that many people come and supporting the cause showed me that so many people care about it, but we just needed one person like you to start something, to start a march, so that we can all kind of join in.
Just being at the march felt, powerful. 750 people all together, one location. It's a lot of people, 750.
Yeah, it was really powerful, especially to see you two holding the banner. I couldn't have had the march if we didn't have you guys lead the walk. When you hear about these events on the news, have you experienced it in your personal life? Would you know anyone who has experienced these acts, whether discrimination or physical, verbal attacks personally?
I have only once experienced Asian hate. I was shopping at Rite Aid, and these group of teens just came up to me and my friends and say, "Oh no, don't give us math or whatever. I just ignored it. You know, that was pretty funny, and I believe I wouldn't have really reacted the same way. You know, I wasn't really offended because that doesn't really happen to me, but I'm sure to other Asians in other areas, they would have been deeply affected, you know, traumatized.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a great point, because a lot of times, you know, we're socially conditioned not to react to the racism we receive. You know, like if someone's like, where are you from? I used to honestly answer, you know, like I'd be like, oh, I'm from New Jersey, but my parents are from Korea, right? I'm Korean, right? I knew the answer they were looking for, when in reality, right, if you see someone who's not Asian and you ask them where are they from, like you would never even think to ask them that question. So that's, you know, a microaggression. And we've been socially conditioned to, you know, not react, just smile, play it as a joke. And that's a lot of the reason why, you know, the world doesn't believe that Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders face racism, right? The model minority rift, that we're so successful, we don't face any barriers to achieving the American dream, quote unquote. Jason did bring up a great point that, you know, there is a lot of diversity here, and I don't think people would be listening to an Asian girl like me if I didn't come from, if I was the only one of myself in a town, right? I'm so grateful to my parents, I think we all are, for, you know, letting us live in this community with such great diversity, because I personally get to see people who look like me, you know, in all sectors of life, and I have the support from, you know, my fellow Asian American community members, and that's just so great to see. Yeah, don't take no for an answer, whether people tell you no because you're Asian American, because you're a teenager, because, I don't know, your sexuality, your gender, English is not your first language, etc. Don't take that for an answer, right? The Youth Council Fort Lee is a welcoming group, and you can start your roots here. We'll be glad to integrate you with our community and make a difference. Jonathan.
Yeah, so thank you all for listening today, and I'd just like to end it off with one saying. I'm stealing this from a YouTube channel, but it's 2 words. It's seek discomfort. I've basically tried to live that way for the past couple years, and it's gotten me this far. And I've made a lot of change within the community through YCFL and other organizations. So yeah, just seek discomfort, like get out of your comfort zone, and don't take no for an answer, like you said.
And I would just like to say, if anyone watching this video, you would get some inspiration from us if you're not even from around here, and if you don't have like certain like communities like the YCFL that we have, like, to start your own or to try to make changes, and don't be afraid, take that step. And I hope that this talk we had would become an inspiration for you to do that.
I just want to conclude by saying thank you to all watching. Just know that if you're a teen or a minor out there, just know that you can still make a difference. And if you're an incoming high schooler or currently a high schooler, consider joining YCFL. Yeah.
Thank you.